Good morning to all of you. So today we are going to discuss about the later part of JavaScript web technology. So in JavaScript, there are some objects or inbuilt objects already present. In JavaScript, there are some inbuilt objects are already present. So what are the inbuilt objects? We will say that math object. Where the previously we have some JavaScript, JS Angular, this type of objects are also present. So math object is that this math object allows us to perform the mathematical task. Just perform to mathematical task. So whatever the mathematical task is going to happen, this math object will help us to perform that particular mathematical task. The this math object actually includes the several mathematical constants and methods. The math, so that's why if any type of mathematical or numerical problems we need to perform, the operation needs to perform, then this math object is mandatory because and without this math object, the process cannot be executed. For syntax for using properties, this math properties or in methods for this math, that is some variable x equal to math.py and variable y math.square square t. So whatever the thing we want to do, we just include the math object. So math dot then whatever the thing we are going to do, we just need to write that particular thing, that the particular term. So if square root for this sqrt, for pi scenario this is pi. So var x variable name, the variable name, then the math object, including math object, then whatever the function or operation need to perform. So what are the properties? Math function dot calling of the properties. Math function dot calling of the properties. So what are the properties present inside this math object? Inside this math function or math object properties. So we can see a list here. What are the properties available? What are the properties included in that math object? First one, E. So first one is E. So math dot E. If we are writing somewhere math dot E, it means that it is performing some Euler's number. It is performing some Euler's number. What is the approx value? That is 2.718. The approx value for Euler's number is that 2.718. So math dot E. This E will denote the Euler's number. The Euler's number. Then math dot ln2. If we are using math dot ln2, means it is the returning of natural logarithm of 2. It is returning the natural logarithm of 2. So what is the approx value of that? That is 0.693. That is 0.693. So math.ln2, it will return the natural logarithm of 2. Then ln10, the same scenario, just it will return the natural logarithm of 10. Of 10. ln2, it will return the natural logarithm of 2 and ln10 will not, it will naturally return the natural logarithm of 10. Then log 2e, log 2e, it is return the base 2 logarithm of e. It will return the base 2 logarithm of e. Log 10e also same, just it will return the logarithm of base 2 of e. So base 2 of log base 10 of logarithm e. Then pi, that is called pi. We know the value of pi, that is the 3.14 or 22 by 7. So rematch.pi means it will return the value of the pi value, that is 3.14 or 22 by 7. Then sqrt 1 to 2, then return the square root of half 1 by 2. Return the square root of 1 by 2 and square root 2, that it will return the square root of 2. It will return the square root of 2. So these are the properties that is included in our math object. That is included in our math object. So now, what are the methods present in our math objects? What are the methods present in our math objects? We have seen the properties. Now we have to see the methods. What are the methods are present? So there we can see there are lots of methods are present. We can see there are lots of methods are present. So what are the methods? First one, ABX. First one, ABS inside the bracket X means it will return the absolute value of X. It will return the absolute value of X. Then ACOSX. It will return the arccosine of X in radians. It will return the arccosine of X in radians. ACINX. It will return the arccosine of X in radians. Then ATANX. So we can see there are lots of objects, methods are present, and each method has some particular description. What is the purpose of that particular method? What is the purpose of that particular method? We can see here. So there are sin x that will return the value of sin of x. To square x, it will return the square root of x. Power POW xy, that will return the value of x to the power y. It will return the value of x to the power y. Log x, it will return the natural logarithm of base e of x. So these are the object methods. How to use the properties in the methods. How to use the particular object methods. How to use the particular object methods. What is the description? What is the purpose? So these are the things that are present here. Now coming to the next part, that is our XML. That is our XML. So JavaScript, the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, this type of things are discussed. Now there is another new term that is present here, that is XML. That is XML. So it is an if we talk about the XML, the full form is that of XML, that extensible markup language. Of HTML, that is a hypertext markup language. In XML, it is the extensible markup language. Extensible markup language. So it is, what is XML? So XML, it is a meta language, or we can say it is an application program interface also, that defines a set of rules for encoding documents in a format that is both human readable and machine readable. So this XML is a type of documents. They have some set of rules of encoding documents in a particular format, which is readable by both the human and the machine. So XML is a type of set of rules of documenting format. It is a documenting format where some set of rules are present, which can be easily understandable by the user, by the machine, and also by the human. So it is it can be used to store the data and act as a mechanism to transfer information between dissimilar systems. So the dissimilar system means one is our human and second is the machine. So human and machines cannot understand each other language. So to act as a mechanism to transfer the information between these type of dissimilar systems is known as XML. So XML, the full form of, we have said already, that extensible markup language. Extensible markup language. And it is just like an HTML thing, that is what we have discussed earlier. So it was designed to describe the data. And tags are not predefined in XML. We have to define our own tags. In HTML, the tags are defined. In HTML, the tags are defined. But in XML, tags are not defined. We have to define our own tags. So XML is a self-describing thing we can say about, or it is used to this document type definition to formally describe the data. So this is the basic of XML. So we can say that what is an XML? So it is an set of documents of rules for in a particular format for which is used for encoding that is readable by both human and the machine. And we can say that it can also store the data and acts as a transform or mechanism to transfer the information between the two type of dissimilar systems, or not two type of more than two. So we can say between the dissimilar systems only. Okay. So this XML, this is used to describing the data, and it is a defining process. That is, we have to define our own tag. No tags have been defined previously. So here we can see an example of XML. That is an XML version is given. The person name, first name, bracket first name and first name tag closed, last name and last name tag closed. So whatever the thing we are going to do, that will be a tag itself. So we are mentioning some name, only not the name, it will be the tag, the name, also the first name, second name, middle name, anything. So whatever the things are, it will be a tag. So we are defining our own tag here. So what is the difference between the XML and HTML? What is the difference? So XML and HTML, as we basic difference, we can say that HTML has its own uh, tags. HTML has its own tags, and but XML does not have its own. So we have to define the tags. So HTML have our own tag, and that already described. These are they are already self described already, but XML we need to describe that particular on by our own. So XML was designed to store the data and transfer the data. XML was designed to store the data and transfer the data, but HTML was designed to display the data. So HTML designing to display the data. XML is designed to store the data and transfer the data. Second one, XML focus on what the data is. XML focus only on what the data is, but HTML focus on how the data looks. HTML focus on how the data looks. In XML, we can design our own tag. In XML, we can design our own tag that I said, and but in HTML, the tags are predefined. HTML, the tags are predefined. HTML don't use any kind of parser. HTML don't use any kind of parser, whereas XML uses parser to check and read XML files .com x. So whatever the things that the HTML have don't have any kind of parser, but XML uses the parser to check and read the XML file, to check and read the XML files. So XML was designed to store the data and transfer the data. HTML was designed to display the particular data. XML focuses on what the data is. HTML focus on how the data looks. So one, we can say that an HTML is totally on display and designing purpose. Display and designing purpose. What will be the representation? What will be the looks out? What will be the output for the user? That is the part of HTML. And what is the data? How to process the data? How to transfer the data? How to make it readable for both the human and the machine. So working on the data is the basic purpose of XML. So XML is working on data, whereas HTML is working on displaying the data. HTML is working on displaying the data. So what are the uses of this XML? So XML used to exchange the data between dissimilar system that we have already discussed or already seen in the upper part. That is the XML is used to exchange the data between the dissimilar system. XML is used to describe the content of a document, and XML can be used as a database to store the data. As a database to store the data. So three purpose of XML we can talk about that. XML is used to exchange data between dissimilar systems. It is used to describe the content of a document. What are the contents? What are the things are present in the documents? And XML can be used as a database. So first the data will be stored in some XML variables or part in the XML storage part, and then the data will be processed, and then the data will be processed. So processing any type of data, we all know that first of all, that data needs to be stored. Otherwise, the data cannot be processed. So the data first of all need to store, and so XML is processing the storing the data and then processing the data for whatever the purpose is. So what are the features of XML? So what are the features of XML? So XML has its own tag. So it is a self-describing. XML has its own tag. So it's a self-describing. It is a language independent. Any language is able to read and write in XML. So not any type of specific language is required. Any type of language is here. We can work on that particular language. So it is a language independent thing. We can read and write on any type of language, And also XML is a self-describing process, and XML can work on any platform. It is not any platform oriented. So it is an operating system independent also. It can work on any platform. It can be Windows, it can be Linux. So whatever the things are, it can be Mac. So XML can work independently. Readability, it is a plain text file in user readable format. So the things can be edited or viewed in simple editor. So it is just a simple editor file. So for that, we don't need to install particularly something more, some specific things. So it can be edit or view in a simple editor, whatever the things are available in the operating system. So XML is a plain text file. So these are the features of the XML. So these are the features of the XML. And also one is that hierarchical. It has a hierarchical structure which is powerful to express the complex data and simple to understand. So it has a hierarchical structure which is powerful for to express the complex data. So if there is a complex data, for the hierarchical process, it can be processed easily, and that complex data will be easily understood and make it converting or transforming it into a simple type so that everyone can understand. So it can be easily understandable. Okay. So these are the features of the XML. These are the features of the XML. Now, what are the components? What are the key components present in our XML? So key components we were talking about, the first one, that XML must have an root element. So first key component that we can see, that XML root element. XML root element. So this XML must have a root element. The first element after XML version declaration is a file, is a root element. So first we need to declare the XML version or XML version declaration. Then the things that will be there, that is the root element. Then the things that will be there, that will be the root element. That will be the root element. So here we can see an example, that is first of all bookstore, then book category, title, author, year, price. Then the things have been closed. So book, first one is the category, book tag has been there, bookstore tag is there. So first of all, the root element is our bookstore. What is the root element? Bookstore. Then the things have been described. So the first element after the XML version declaration file is a root element. So we didn't have a XML version declaration file here because we are just going to check the basic syntax of XML root element. That's why no version element has been described. But if we are talking about the version, so we can write that XML version, comma, or equal to whatever the things we are using, 1.0, 1.12, whatever the part are. So that's XML version declaration. Then the bookstore. It is the root element. This bookstore is the XML root element for this XML documentation. So XML root element, bookstore, then the book category. Book category under we have mentioned that is the children, then title, that is the Harry Potter, then author, that is J.K. Rowling, year 2005, price $29.99 it will be, and book and place bookstore. So everything is in a hierarchical process, and also it is the root element have been described, and by the root element everything have been categorized. So book store, under that book, then the starting of category. Category started, title, author, year, and price. So this is the XML root element. So bookstore is our root element. We can see. So starting from that particular thing, bookstore is our root element. Bookstore is our root element. Now, this XML element, what is this part of XML element? So we have seen the part of XML root element. So now what is this XML element? XML element is an everything from the element start tag to the element end tag. So an XML element is everything from the element start tag to including the XML end tag. So starting tag to ending tag, whatever the things are present, that is called an XML element. That is called an XML element. So an element can contain the others element, text, attributes, or all of the above, or mixture of all of the above. So whatever the things we are writing from the starting of the element start tag to the ending tag, whatever the things are present, it is called the XML element. It is called the XML element. This element contain all the things, text, attribute, other elements. So in our previous example, we have seen that bookstore is our root element, but after that, title, author, price, whatever the things are present, all are the XML elements. All are the XML elements. Next, the XML attribute. This XML attribute provides us the additional information about the element. So whatever the element we are working on, what is the additional information related to that particular element? What is the relation additional information? Whatever the additional information are particularly for that element, we will get by this XML attribute. We will get this XML attribute. So attribute provides information that is not part of the data. So that whatever the part is not present in our data, that attribute, that information, if we are getting, that is through this XML attribute. That is we are getting through this XML attribute. So here we can see an example that the file type is irrelevant to the data, but can be important to the software that wants to manipulate the element. So maybe the data type that is not relevant to our process. So because we are while writing a data, the data type process maybe not useful for the user or for the part, but whatever the software or whatever the things on working, it is important to them maybe. So that's why the extension or the data file type we need to mention. So here we can see that file type we have mentioned GIF, then that computer.gif, but only the computer is the important thing, the attribute and file type, whatever the things are. But the file type extension, what is the file type extension, that may be relevant to the user, because if it is an image, if we can visualize the image, then that is enough for us. What is the format? We don't go to check. We will maybe in most of the cases we are not checking. Just here's the image. It is an image and it is opening. That's enough for us. But whatever the software that is processing, maybe it is important information for that particular software to process the data. Then that particular information, this is the called additional information for the data that needs to be processed. That needs to be processed. So this is the part of this XML attribute. This is the part of this XML attribute. And this XML attributes must be quoted. XML attribute must be quoted. So we can see a double GIF, double inverted comma, then the GIF. Then XML namespace. XML namespace. This XML namespace is a special type of reserved XML attribute that we are placing in an XML tag. So in XML tag, the namespace is a special type of reserved XML attribute that we will place in the XML tag. The reserved attribute is actually more like a prefix that we attach to any namespace we create. So namespace is a special type of reserved XML attribute. So namespace is also present in our previously HTML also. So this XML have the speciality of a namespace also. It is a special type of reserved XML that is placed in an XML tag. The reserved attribute is actually more like a prefix. It is a prefix, something looks like. that we attach to a namespace we create. So the attribute prefix may be XMLNS, which stand of XML namespace. XML namespace. So this is the particular namespace attribute. So attributes have some prefix. So if we are using some XML document, then after that we are writing the NS. So it will be mentioning that it is some namespace. The colon is used to separate the prefix from your namespace that we are creating. That we are creating. So there is a colon we can see also. So XML must have a unique value that no other namespace in the document has. So if this is the commonly used URI or the most commonly used URL. So this is the particular thing that whatever the XML namespace having the information, it is totally unique to them. It is totally unique to them. And that is the part only where the things or this namespace has a document. So there is some commonly used URI, that uniform resource identifier, or the more commonly used URL. So we can see that mydomain.com.ns namespace have been given .nms/nml animals slash 1.1. So previously we have mentioned that XML NS. Previously we have mentioned that XML NS. So this is the part of namespace that is actually a special type of reserved XML attribute. That is a special type of reserved XML attribute. Then that is some XML tag, and it is a reserved attribute that is actually more like a prefix that we are attached to any namespace we create. So here an example is given that create an XML file that contains the book information. That contains the book information. So as per the things, as per the format, that first of all, there will be XML version we need to mention. XML version, here we have mentioned that 1.0. Then the XML root element, then the XML root element, here the root element is bookstore. Then the things that will be considered the book, title, author, year, then the book has been closed, then another book. So we have categorized the book section. So we can see here the two book section we have added. First one for the title of learning XML, second one for the WAD. So these are the book title, author for each of the book title, year, publishing year, and price for each of the book title. Price for each of the book title. So whenever a book have been opened, book tag have been opened, the book tag needs to be closed. So you can see the book tag have been closed after write whatever the information for one particular book have been described. Then the book information has closed. So for processing for the second time, again the book tag will be opened and it will be used. And bookstore is our root element that have just placed under the XML version, and that root element also going to be closed, and that root element also going to be closed. So we will talk or discuss about only this part today, because in the later part there are some new things. There is some DTD, document infrastructure. What are the things? That is some new part. So only what are the XML file, the contents, how to process the XML part, write, or how to write the XML code or a query, that is mentioned here. That is mentioned here. So this is the part where we are going to stop today. And all of you write down your names in the chat box for the attendance. As you all know that I will mark the attendance from my side. So you people can write, you are I'm requesting you all to write down your names in the chat box for the attendance purpose. And if anyone have any type of query or doubts, then they can ask me. So as there are many classes happen already for this web technology, almost 11 or 12 classes we have discussed. So now there will be a assignment I am going to give you people. Uh, so the assignment will be available in the LMS portal. There will be enough time to submit that particular assignment. Okay. So the assignment will be uploaded will be 1 or 2 days, and I will inform you all when the assignment will be uploaded, and there will be enough time to submit the particular assignment. So do submit the assignment in the proper schedule time. Don't say that I have been delayed, because I will be giving ample time, much time for you people to so that you people can write it and submit the assignments, because I know that everyone, all of you in your fourth year are busy. Some are doing jobs, some are doing internships, some are doing, and it means all are involving in something, some work. So that was still I will give you a much time to submit the assignment. and the assignment will be very small. So do write the attendance and submit that within the proper time. And I hope all of you have write down your names in the chat box for the attendance purpose. If anyone have misses, please write it down, because I am going to mark the attendance, and those who have write the names in the chat box, only that particular people or students are going to mark or get the attendance. Okay. So this is all for today. So thank you all for joining into the session. And if anyone have to say anything, they can, or otherwise I am going to end the session. And also one of the important things that is that I said every time, that stay in your home and stay safe. Take care.